Disclaimer: this is a work of fiction created for entertainment purpose only, not affiliated with BTS or Big Hit Entertainment. Characters and storylines are fictional and for entertainment purpose only. If you are homophobic, then please just leave. Tigers Bunny promote respect and kindness. Author POV. Jungkook and Taehyung met on a rainy afternoon in Seoul. Jungkook was working at a small bookstore cafe stacking books when Taehyung walked in, shaking the rain from his hair. He was handsome, confident, and smiled in a way that made Jungkook's heart beat faster. At first, Jungkook was too shy to even talk to him properly, but Taehyung was patient. Every day, he came back ordering coffee and asking about books just so he could see Jungkook's cute blushing face. Slowly, Jungkook opened up, and before they knew it, they were spending all their time together talking about dreams, laughing over silly jokes, and falling deeply in love. Even though they were from different worlds, Taehyung from a rich, respected family and Jungkook from a poor background, Taehyung didn't care. To him, Jungkook was everything. His sweetness, his soft voice, his big bright eyes. Taehyung wanted to protect him forever. When Taehyung proposed, Jungkook had tears in his eyes but nodded shyly, hiding his face in Taehyung's chest. They planned their wedding together, dreaming of a happy future. But not everyone was happy. Taehyung's family, especially his mother, didn't approve. She thought Jungkook was too poor, not good enough for her son. Taehyung fought hand with them, but he refused to leave Jungkook. He is mine, he told them firmly, and I will marry him. Now standing in front of the priest, Jungkook felt his heart pounding. He wore a simple white suit, looking like an angel, his hand shaking a little. Taehyung stood all beside him, holding his hand tightly, showing the whole world that he belonged to him. The priest asked them to say their vows. Jungkook's voice was soft but steady as he promised to love Taehyung forever. Taehyung's deep voice followed, full of the strength and warmth, as he vowed to protect Jungkook with everything he had. But behind them, Taehyung's family sat stiffly, faces cold with anger. His mother's glare was sharp, but Taehyung didn't even look at her. His eyes were only for Jungkook, his shy, beautiful bride. Taehyung, when Jungkook's hands trembled, he squeezed them tightly and leaned in close to whisper, "Don't be scared, baby. I'm here. You are mine now." Jungkook looked up at him with shining eyes, feeling safe, feeling loved, no matter what others thought. They had each other, and that was all that mattered. After the wedding ceremony, it was time to go to Taehyung's parents to get their blessing. Jungkook's hand was still shaking a little as he held into Taehyung's arm. His big brown eyes looked up at his husband shyly, searching for comfort. Taehyung leaned down and whispered, "Don't worry, love. I'm right here. I will never let anyone hurt you." His deep voice made Jungkook's heart feel warm and safe. They walked together to the big table where Theon's parents sat. Theon's father gave the small nod, but his mother, Mrs. Kim, kept her lips tight and her eyes cold. Jungkook bowed respectfully, even though his heart was beating painfully fast. "Jungkook, please bless us, mother," Jungkook said softly, his voice like a small, trembling bell. Theon's mom, Mrs. Kim, looked at him from head to toe, full of disgust. Then she spoke, her voice sharp like a knife. "Mrs. Kim, I bless my son," she said coldly, but not the boy who clung to him like a beggar. The words hit Jungkook hard, his cheeks flushed red with shame. He lowered his head quickly, trying to hide the tears forming in his eyes. But before Jungkook could step back, Theung's strong arm wrapped around his waist, pulling him close protectively. His eyes flashed with anger as he faced his mother. "Theung, enough." Theung's voice was loud and firm, making the whole room go silent. "You don't get to insult my husband. Jungkook is my choice, my life, my happiness." Mrs. Kim opened her mouth to speak again, but Theung didn't let her. "Theung, I don't care about your money, your pride, or your rules, Mom," he said, his voice low but powerful. "If you can't respect Jungkook, then you don't need to respect me either." Jungkook clutched Theung's jacket tightly, hiding his face in Theung's chest. Theung kissed the top of his head gently, ignoring all the stares around them. Taehyung, we don't need anyone's blessing, he said softly, but everyone heard the strength in his voice. I am his family, now he is mine, and I will protect him with everything I have. With that, Taehyung turned around, still holding Jungkook close, and led him away from the cold-hearted people who could not see Jungkook's pure heart. Once they were outside, Taehyung cupped Jungkook's face in his hands and kissed his forehead lovingly. Taehyung, don't listen to them, baby, he whispered. You are perfect. You are all I ever wanted. Jungkook finally smiled, tears shining in his eyes, not from sadness but from the feeling so deeply loved. As they drove away together into the night, Jungkook leaned in his head on Taehyung's shoulder, feeling safe, feeling protected, knowing that no matter what the world say, Taehyung had chosen him and would always fight for him. After the wedding, it was tradition for the new bride to stay with the husband at his family's home. So Jungkook, now officially Taehyung's beloved, walked shyly into the big, beautiful house, holding onto Taehyung's hand tightly. His own parents had come to drop him off, smiling warmly but a little nervously too. Taehyung's mother stood far away, her eyes cold, but Taehyung ignored her completely. His whole world was Jungkook now. As they entered Taehyung's room, Taehyung carefully closed the door behind them. He turned to Jungkook, his dark eyes soft but full of something deeper, something protective, something hungry. Without a word, Taehyung walked over, picked Jungkook up easily in his strong arms and placed him gently on the big bed. Jungkook gaped softly, his cheeks turning bright pink. Taehyung hovered over him for a second, brushing Jungkook's hair away from his face. Taehyung, you are so beautiful, my bride, he said in a low voice, making Jungkook's heart race. Jungkook looked up at him with wide eyes, his small hands clinging to Taehyung's shirt. Taehyung, he whispered shyly, making Taehyung smile warmly. Taehyung leaned down and pressed a slow, deep kiss on Jungkook's forehead, then on his nose, and finally on his soft lips. Jungkook melted under his touch, blushing harder but not moving away. He trusted Taehyung completely. Their kiss grew deeper for a moment, Taehyung's hand cupping Jungkook's jaw, tilting his head just the way he liked. Jungkook responded sweetly, following his husband's lead, letting him dominate the kiss. After a while, Taehyung pulled back, resting his forehead against Jungkook's. His thumb traced Jungkook's lips, which were now a little swollen from the kiss. Taehyung, I need to go to the office for a little while now. Taehyung said, his deep voice unserious. There is an emergency, love, but listen to me carefully. He gently lifted Jungkook's chin, making sure the younger looked into his eyes. Don't leave this room, okay? He said firmly. Stay here. I know my mom. She will say something hurtful again. I don't want you to hear any of that. Promise me, baby. Jungkook nodded quickly, his eyes big and obedient. I promise, Young, he whispered softly. Taehyung smiled proudly, pressing another kiss on his shy bride's forehead. Good boy, he praised in a low, warm tone that made Jungkook's whole body tingle. He tugged Jungkook under the soft covers, making sure he was comfortable. Then he sat beside him for a few more minutes, holding his hand tightly, brushing soft kisses over his knuckles, his cheeks, his lips, like he couldn't get enough of him. Jungkook blushed harder each time but didn't pull away. He just closed his eyes and soaked in the love, feeling safe and wanted. Finally, Taehyung stood up, fixing his jacket. Taehyung, I will be back soon, my love, he said. Wait for me. Jungkook sat there looking up at him like the sweetest, most precious thing in the world, nodding cutely. As Taehyung opened the door, he looked back once more, his eyes filled with love and longing. And then he left, leaving Jungkook sitting on the bed, wrapped in a soft arm of his husband's care and promises. Jungkook sat quietly on the bed, holding a soft pillow in his lap, waiting patiently for Taehyung to return. His heart was calm because he trusted his husband's word, but suddenly there was a knock on the door. Before Jungkook could answer, the door opened and Mrs. Kim walked in, her heels clicking sharply on the floor. Jungkook quickly stood up and bowed politely. Good morning, mother, he said softly, his voice full of respect. Mrs. Kim crossed her arms, looking at him from head to toe with cold eyes. So this is how you behave, she said sharply, sitting comfortably in my son's room like you own it. Jungkook lowered his eyes, feeling small under her harsh gaze. I'm sorry, mother. I was just waiting for Taehyung to return. He answered, his voice barely above a whisper. Mrs. Kim stepped closer, her words sharp like knife. You think you deserve him? She sneered. A poor, nameless boy with nothing to offer. How dare you to stand beside a king? You are not one of us. You never will be. Jungkook hands tightened on the pillow. He wanted to cry, but he held it inside, remembering Taehyung's word to be strong. I love him, mother, Jungkook said bravely, even though his voice trembled. I will do my best to make him happy. Mrs. Kim laughed bitterly. Love, she said mockingly. Do you think love creates a family? Do you think love earns respect in this world? You are nothing but a burden to him. Jungkook shook his head quickly, tears shining in his big brown eyes. I will work hard. I will support him. I will stand by him no matter what, he whispered. Mrs. Kim took another step forward, her face close to his. Listen carefully, boy, she hissed. You are weak. You are poor. You have no power, no status. You are an embarrassment to this family. The only reason you are here is because Taeyong is foolish and blinded by your fake sweetness. Jungkook bit his lips hard to stop himself from crying. Still, he bowed again politely. I am sorry you feel this way, mother, but I will love him all my life. I will never leave him, he said, his voice breaking a little. Mrs. Kim scoffed and turned towards the door. We will see how long your love lasts once the real world crushes you, she said coldly, slamming the door behind her. As soon as she left, Jungkook sat back down on the bed, clenching the pillow tightly against his chest. The room felt so big and cold without Taehyung there. He curled up quickly, silent tears falling from his eyes, waiting for his husband to come back, the only person who ever made him feel like he was enough. Time skipped. The door opened suddenly with a soft click. Theon stepped inside, smiling brightly, carrying a beautiful gift bag in his hand. Theon, baby, I'm home, he called out warmly. He looked around and saw Jungkook sitting quickly by the bed. Jungkook had changed out of his wedding clothes into a simple white shirt and soft pajama pants. His hair was slightly messy, but he looked so adorable, so soft. Theon's heart melted. Ah, you look so cute like this, Theung said with a big grin. Jungkook, hearing his voice, Jungkook quickly turned around, his back stiff at first. He hurriedly wiped at his cheeks, trying to erase the tears that still clung there. He forced a smile onto his face. Welcome back, Young, he said quickly, his voice a little shaky. Theung noticed the way Jungkook's eyes were red and slightly swollen. He frowned immediately, stepping closer. Baby, he said gently, were you crying? Jungkook shook his head quickly, his smile faltering a little. No, Young, I was just tired. Jungkook whispered, looking down at his hands, not able to meet Theung's eyes. Theung knelt in front of him, placing the gift carefully on the floor. He cupped Jungkook's cheeks with his firm hands, lifting his face gently. Look at me, love, he said softly. Jungkook finally looked up, and the sadness in his big brown eyes made Theung's chest tighten painfully. Love, Theung whispered, brushing his thumbs under Jungkook's eyes. Who made you cry? Jungkook bit his lips, trying to be strong. He shook his head again. No one, I'm fine, Young. Really. But Theung wasn't fooled. He leaned in, pressing a gentle kiss on Jungkook's forehead. Theung, don't lie to me, Ko. You are mine now. I need to know when you are hurting, he said firmly but lovingly. Jungkook, eyes filled with tears again, but this time he let them fall. He trusted Theung. He knew he could be honest with him. It's nothing, actually. Mother just said some things, Jungkook whispered, his voice breaking. Theung hands froze, his soft smile disappeared, replaced by a cold, dangerous anger in his eyes. He pulled Jungkook close against his chest, wrapping him tightly in his arm. She dared to come into our room, Theung said in a low, furious voice. And she dared to hurt you. Jungkook nodded silently, burying his face in Theung's chest. Theung closed his eyes, holding him even tighter, as if protecting him from the whole world. You don't ever have to hide your tears from me, love, Theung whispered. Cry if you want. I will be here to wipe every tear. Jungkook clutched at his shirt, feeling overwhelmed by Theung's love and warmth. After a few minutes of silence, Taehyung pulled back slightly and smiled gently. Taehyung, I bought you something, he said, trying to cheer him up. He picked up the gift bag and placed it in Jungkook's hand. Open it, my little bride, he said sweetly, kissing the tip of Jungkook's nose. With shaky hands, Jungkook opened the bag and pulled out a soft, beautiful cardigan, cream color with tiny embroidered flowers along the sleeves. It was warm, cozy, and clearly chosen with so much love. Taehyung, I thought of you when I saw it, he said softly. I want you to always feel warm, always feel loved. Jungkook's lips trembled again, but this time it was from happiness. He hugged the cardigan close to his chest, then looked up at Taehyung with shining eyes. Thank you, Young. I love you, he whispered. Taehyung smiled proudly and leaned down to capture Jungkook's lip in a slow, tender kiss. I love you more, he whispered again his lips, and I will never let anyone hurt you again. Jungkook couldn't hold back anymore. He dropped the cardigan on the bed and threw himself into Taehyung's arm, clutching him tightly, sobbing softly into his chest. I'm sorry, Young, he cried. Maybe I'm not good enough for you. Maybe your mother is right. I'm just not perfect for you. Taehyung, hearing those broken words, Taehyung's heart shattered into pieces. He held Jungkook even tighter, one hand cradling the back of his head protectively. Don't you dare say that, Taehyung whispered fiercely, his deep voice shaking with emotion. You are perfect. You are everything I ever wanted. You are mine, Jungkook, mine. He held Jungkook's chin up, forcing him to meet his eyes. I choose you, Taehyung said, his voice low and rough with feeling. In this whole world full of people, I choose you, and I will choose you again and again, every day until my last breath. Before Jungkook could answer, Taehyung captured his lips into a kiss, deep, desperate, full of all the love he couldn't put into words. Jungkook whimpered softly against his lips, his small hands grabbing at Taehyung's shirt, needing to feel that love. Taehyung kissed him harder, pushing him gently down onto the bed. His big hands slid under Jungkook's, pulling him closer, making sure there was no space left between them. He broke the kiss just for a second, breathing heavily against Jungkook's lips. You are mine, he growled softly, his forehead pressed against Jungkook's, and I am yours. Jungkook nodded weakly, tears still glistening in his eyes, but this time they were tears of love. I'm yours, Young, he whispered. Hearing those words, Taehyung's last thread of control snapped. He kissed Jungkook again, this time slower, deeper, marking him, worshipping him. His hands roamed over Jungkook's small frame, memorizing every curve, every soft gasp, every trembling breath. Jungkook let him, trusting him completely, melting under his touch. He looked up at Taehyung with wide, loud fields, so beautiful, so innocent, so his. Taehyung pressed kisses along his jawlines, down to his neck, leaving soft, burning trails onto his skin. Jungkook tilted his head back, giving him more access, shy but wanting. The room filled with the soft sound of their kisses, their breathing, their love. Theon, I love you. Theon whispered again and again against Jungkook's skin. I love every part of you, every inch, every flaw, every dream. Jungkook wrapped his arms around Theon's neck, pulling him closer, giving himself fully to the man he loved more than anything. Their clothes slowly fell onto the floor, forgetting as they lost themselves in each other. Theon was slow, patient, making sure every touch, every kiss told Jungkook exactly how much he was wanted, how much he was cherished. That night, under the soft moonlight coming through the window, Theon showed Jungkook with his body, his hands, his mouth, how absolutely perfect he was. When it was over, Jungkook lay curled up against Theon's chest, breathing softly, his body soft, but his heart overwhelming with love. Theon kissed the top of his head and held him close, his arms like a protective cage around his precious boy. Theon, I will talk to Mother tomorrow. Theon thought, his fingers running slowly through Jungkook's hair. Right now, my love needs me more. Tonight, it's just me and him. The morning sun peeked gently through the curtains, bathing the room in a warm golden glow. Theon woke up slowly, blinking his heavy eyes open, feeling the sweet weight onto his chest. He smiled immediately. There, lying on top of him, tangled in the sheets, was his beautiful husband Jungkook. His soft, messy hair framed his face perfectly, his cheeks still carrying light marks from Theon's kiss and touches from the last night. Theon's heart swelled with pride and pure love. He ran his fingers slowly down Jungkook's bare back, feeling the warmth of his skin, the softness of his body pressed so close to him. Taehyung, my beautiful boy, he whispered softly, so full of tenderness that he almost couldn't breathe. As if feeling his touch, Jungkook straight, his long lashes fluttering open. He blinked up sleepily at Taehyung, and then suddenly realization hit him. His big eyes widened in shock. He realized he was still completely naked, laying right on top of his husband, who was just as bare under him. Jungkook let out a tiny squeak and hurriedly tried to hide his face against Taehyung's neck, his cheeks burning bright red. Taehyung chuckled deeply, his chest vibrating under Jungkook's cheeks. Why so shy, love? Taehyung stays, turning his fingers through Jungkook's hair lazily. You were so last night, Jungkook. Whined softly and hid even more, his small hand gripping the blanket and trying to pull it over both of them. It was different last night, Jungkook mumbled shyly, his voice muffled against Taehyung's skin. Taehyung laughed warmly and rolled slightly, flipping their positions easily so that now he was on top of pinning Jungkook under him. Jungkook gazed softly, staring up at him with wide, innocent eyes. Taehyung gaze darkened with affection and you are too adorable, love, he said, brushing his nose against Jungkook's cheeks. You drive me crazy, baby. Jungkook bit his lips, trying to look away, but Taehyung catched his chin gently and made him look back. Taehyung, don't hide from me, Taehyung whispered. You are mine. Every shy smile, every little blush, you belong to me. Jungkook breathed, his hands came up to weakly push Taehyung away, but Taehyung catched his wrist and pinned them above his head, smirking down at him. Taehyung, naughty little bunny, Taehyung teased, leaning closer, trying to run away after stealing my heart. Jungkook shook his head quickly, his cheeks burning. I am not, he protests softly. Taehyung chuckled and kissed his forehead, his nose, his cheeks trailing down to his lips, giving him soft, breathing pecks. Each peck made Jungkook scream and whimper quickly, his body arching slightly under Taehyung's bigger frame. Taehyung at his lower lip playfully. I should punish you for being too cute, he whispered against Jungkook's mouth. Jungkook's eyes widened even more, but his heart was pounding with excitement, love, and shyness all mixed together. Taehyung kissed him deeply, then stealing all his protest, all his fears, until Jungkook was breathless and clinging to him, melting completely under his chest. The morning turned warm, full of soft kisses, teasing touches, and whimpers. Promises between them tangled in love and virtues. At that moment, nothing else mattered. No cruel words, no angry parents, only the two of them, wrapped in each other's arms, belonging completely to one another. After what felt like endless minutes of kissing and teasing, Theon finally pulled away. Slightly breathing heavily, he looked down at his shy little husband with a big smile. Theon, you are my baby. Theon said teasingly, running a finger down Jungkook's flushed cheeks. We need a shower. Jungkook eyes widened completely. No, I can go alone, he shuddered, trying to wiggle out from under Theon, his face turning even redder. Theon only chuckled deeply, easily catching Jungkook's small wrist again, and missed the chance to see my beautiful husband all shy. Theon whispered against Jungkook's ear, making him shiver. Before Jungkook could say another word, Theon suddenly scooped him up into his strong arm bridal style. Jungkook gasped loudly, wrapping his arm around Theon's neck automatically. Jungkook, Young put me down. Jungkook cried out, face buried in Theon's neck. Theon just laughed, walking confidently toward the bathroom. Shh, baby, you are mine now. You don't get to say no when I want to spoil you. He said, voice playfully but possessive. Jungkook tried to protest more, screaming slightly. I'm dirty and it's embarrassing, Theo. Tightening his arm a little, his voice dropping low and round. I don't care if you are messy or shy, love, he whispered. You are beautiful to me always. He kicked the bathroom door open and stepped inside, placing Jungkook carefully onto the counter. Jungkook sat there, looking up at him with wide, nervous eyes, his cheeks a deep pink. Theon leaned in close, hands trapping Jungkook between his arm on the counter. You talk too much, baby, Theon said softly, eyes low onto Jungkook's lip. Before Jungkook could say anything, Theon kissed him hard, a kiss so deep, so hungry that Jungkook's mind went blank. He whimpered softly against Theon's mouth, his small hand grabbing desperately at Theon's shoulder for support. Theon tongue glided past his, claiming him, tasting him, making sure Jungkook forgot everything else but him. When he finally pulled back, Jungkook was breathless, his lips swollen, his eyes dazed. Theon, there we go. Taehyung whispers against his lip. Much better when you are kid. Jungkook could only nod weakly, his heart thundering in his chest. Taehyung's mate can begin to run the water in the shower, steam quickly filling the room. He turned back to Jungkook, his eyes dark with desire and love. Come, baby, he said, reaching out his hand. Let's wash everything together. Blushing like crazy, Jungkook Charlie placed his hand in Taehyung's bigger one, letting himself be pulled gently into the warm shower, into Taehyung's arm, into his love. The warm water rained down gently from the shower, steam curling around them like a soft blanket. Taehyung pulled Jungkook close, his arm wrapping protectively around his smaller frame, shielding him from the world. Jungkook shivered a little, partly from the heat of the water, but mostly from the way Taehyung was looking at him, like he was something precious, something priceless. Taehyung, you are so beautiful, love. Taehyung whispered against his temple, his deep voice, and he was down. Jungkook whispered. Jungkook hid his face against Taehyung's chest, feeling his cheeks burn again. Taehyung chuckled softly and kissed the top of his head. Don't hide from me, love, he said, tilting Jungkook's chin up gently. Their eyes met, Jungkook's wide, shy ones and Taehyung's deep, adoring ones. Without another word, Taehyung leaned down and kissed him again, slowly, deeply, tenderly, as if he had all the time in the world and he wanted to spend every second tasting his husband. Under the warm water, their bodies pressed closer, skin against skin, heart beating wildly. Theon's hands moved carefully, loving, running soft along Jungkook's soft skin, massaging his shoulder, his back, his arm. He touched him like he was something sacred, something to be worshipped. Jungkook whimpered softly when Theon's finger traced delicate circles along his Jungkook whispered, his voice trembling with shyness. Theon smiled against his skin. I'm just taking care of my baby, he murmured. He knelt down slightly, washing Jungkook's his knees, being so gentle yet so possessive. Jungkook stood frozen, too embarrassed to move, too in love to run away. When Theon stood back up, he found Jungkook's face even redder than before. Theon, my shy little bunny. Theon tasted, pressing his kiss to his forehead. You are mine, all mine. Jungkook nodded without even thinking, his heart pounding. Satisfied, Theon pulled him even closer, running his hand up and down his back, soothing and loving. They kissed again, slower this time, their mouths moving together like a dance, their bodies sliding smooth under the warm water. When they finally broke apart from air, Theon rested his forehead against Jungkook's, both of them breathing heavily, their hearts racing together. Theon, let's stay like this a little longer. Theon whispered, Jungkook smiling shyly, nodding, wrapping his arm around Theon's waist. They stood under the falling water, lost in each other's arms, letting the world outside fade away. The warm water slowly ran out, and Theon held Jungkook's reins off. Neither of them were in a hurry. They were lost in each other's presence, enjoying the closeness. But soon the water began to cool, and it was time to step out. Theon helped Jungkook dry off, his fingers running softly over his skin as he wrapped him in a fluffy towel. Theon, I will get you something cute to wear, Theon said, his voice playful but also tender. Jungkook looked up at him, his eyes still a little shy. You want to pick my clothes, Young? He asked softly. Theon smiled down at him, his heart fluttering. Of course, he said gently, pushing some damp strands of hair out of Jungkook's face. You look perfect in anything, but I want to see you in something that makes me proud. Something that says you are mine. Jungkook blushed at the possessive words, but his heart warmed with the thought. He trusted Theon completely. Theon stepped over to the closest and pulled off a soft white shirt and a pair of loose, comfortable jeans. He made sure to pick something that would make Jungkook look effortlessly adorable but also comfortable. When Theon held it up, Jungkook shyly stepped toward him, feeling a bit nervous under his husband's intense gaze. Theon smiled gently and kissed his forehead. Go ahead, baby, put it on. I will be waiting. Jungkook nodded and quickly pressed, slipping into the clothes with Theon's help. When he finally stepped out of the bathroom, he was wearing the white shirt, the soft fabric hugging his slender frame paired with the relaxed jeans. Theon looked at him over, eyes sparkling with admiration and love. You look so beautiful, Taehyung whispered, stepping closer and kissing him softly. Perfect, just perfect. Jungkook smiled shyly but couldn't help the flutter in his heart from Taehyung's loving word. They were ready to face the world together, but there was still the matter of Taehyung's mother. Taehyung took Jungkook's hand, holding it firmly, his grip protective. Are you ready to meet my family? Taehyung asked, his voice soft but filled with determination. Jungkook nodded, though his heart raced with nervous. Taehyung smiled, the expression softening his usually dominant features. They walked hand in hand down the stairs, Jungkook feeling a little nervous but also so grateful to have Taehyung beside him. When they reached the living room, Taehyung's mother, who had been sitting with a cold expression, stood up immediately, her gaze hard as she looked at Jungkook. Taehyung didn't let go of Jungkook's hand. He pulled him close, wrapping his arm around his waist as he faced his mother. Taehyung, mom, we need to talk. Taehyung said calmly but firmly. Jungkook is my husband and you will respect him. No more harsh words, not today, not any day. Taehyung's mother opened her mouth to protest, but Taehyung's gaze was unwavering. Taehyung, I am not asking mom, I am telling you. If you can't accept him, then I am done explaining. This is my choice. Jungkook could feel Taehyung's arm around him, steadying him, making him feel protected. He looked up at Taehyung with wide eyes, moved by his strength. Mrs. Kim, Taehyung's son, his mother said softly, but there was nothing soft in her eyes. I just don't understand why you. Taehyung, because I love him, mom. Taehyung interrupted, his voice first, and that should be enough. Jungkook looked up at Taehyung, his heart swelling with emotion. His husband was strong, bold, and he wasn't afraid to fight for him, for their love. Taehyung's mother sighed, her expression hard to read. But Taehyung didn't look away. He stood his ground, his chin lifted, proud of the man he loved. Jungkook leaned closer to Taehyung, his hand in quiet gratitude, not saying anything but showing with his touch how much he appreciated everything. Taehyung stood tall, his arms around Jungkook, his eyes locked onto his mother's. He wasn't backing down. Jungkook, though still nervous, held onto the Taehyung's hands tightly, silently grateful for the strength Taehyung gave him. His mother's lips pressed together in a thin line, but she didn't speak right away. Instead, she studied the two of them carefully, her eyes peeking between them, seeing the bond they share. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, she sighed deeply, her shoulders slumping slightly. Mrs. Kim, I have said some harsh things, she began. Her voice softer now, quicker. Things I didn't mean, but I said them out of fear and maybe out of pride. Theon's mother looked at Jungkook then, and for the first time there was no bitterness in her eyes, just great regret. Jungkook, I never should have said those things. I can see now that you are not just a poor boy, you are so much more. You make my son happy, and that's all I should have cared about. I'm sorry. Jungkook stood frozen, his heart racing. He never expected this. His mother-in-law been so cold, so harsh before, but now seeing her stand there with such vulnerability, his chest tightened. Mrs. Kim, I never meant to hurt you, she said, her voice cracking slightly. It wasn't fair to judge you, not after everything you have been both through. Theon, sensing the shift in her mother tone, stepped forward, holding Jungkook's hand tighter. Mom, Theon said, his voice steady but gentle. Jungkook is the best thing that's ever happened to me. You can't take that away, and you can't take away the love we share. His mother's eyes softened, and for a brief moment she looked almost lost. Mrs. Kim, I'm so sorry, Theon, she said quickly. I should have been more understanding. I know now that what matters is your happiness, not what others think, not how different things seem to me. I was wrong. Jungkook's eyes filled with tears as he heard those words. The weight of the pain from earlier still lingered, but this apology felt like a balm, healing the heart slowly, piece by piece. He took a step closer to her, still holding Theon's hand. Thank you, mother, he said softly, his voice barely above a whisper. I'm sorry for making things difficult, but I love your son. I will always love him and I will always take care of him.